All right, YouTube. This is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. Back with another video. Early Friday morning, and we got to talk about it. I'm doing a reaction to the Black conservative perspective, and what he's talking about today is how Stephen A. Smith has come out to stand up against Roland Martin in the attack they did on him for criticizing the Democratic Party and criticizing the facts that came out of the January 6th committee. Now, you may ask, well, why is this news or why is this important? It's important in this news because not only is it the present, but it tells you things about the past. If you know anything about the history of the FBI, especially under J. Edgar Hoover, they always infiltrated organizations. They infiltrated the Black Panthers. They infiltrated the NAACP. They infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan. They infiltrated every organization that they felt were anti-government or anti-democratic party or even anti-Fed. You know, the Fed is the Federal Bureau of Investigation is known for its informants. It is known for its snitches. It is known for its undercovers. It has a long history of being agent provocateurs and actually instigating criminal acts by the very people they have been designated to investigate. So that's the history of the FBI. But there's another history in play with Stephen A. Smith and Roland Martin. See, they act like they forget history. So I'm going to give you a brief history. The Democratic Party is the party of slavery. They are the Dixiecrats. They fought to uphold slavery. Then when they lost the Civil War, they formed the Ku Klux Klan to undermine Reconstruction. Then when they couldn't terrorize the country or the community of Black people to the point that they submitted, they created Jim Crow. Then after Jim Crow, when Black people were still having a little bit of upward mobility, they created redlining. So they like to attribute Lyndon B. Johnson with signing the Civil Rights Bill, but what he actually did was sign a bill that was forced through by Republicans. The first Black men in government were Republican. And even when Lyndon B. Johnson signed the bill, it was duplicitous in nature because he said it would have the Negroes voting Democrat for the next 200 years. This is a brief history of the Democratic Party and its relationship to Black people. So now we come to modern times where the Democratic Party were actually running a campaign on late-term termination of pregnancy all the way to the 8th month, gender reassignment for children and prisoners under the label of gender reaffirming care, open borders that they were using for amalgamation and to create another voting bloc to replace the Black community. It seems like the Democratic Party has not changed since the party of old, still trying to hold on to their slaves, still using Willie Lynch tactics to maintain the status quo. You know, Willie Lynch turned one slave against the next slave. If one slave tried to escape, then the other slave would tell massa. And this is what Roland Martin has become. He has become the number one gatekeeper, the number one attack dog for the Democratic Party. All during the election cycle, anyone who said anything adverse to the Democratic Party, Roland Martin would come out and attack. Roland Martin has one of the largest YouTube platforms out here, but his rhetoric is so foul that you have to ask yourself, how is he even maintaining that number of people with his character, with his rhetoric, with his anti-Black, anti-independent character? It was found out that him and Al Sharpton and Oprah Winfrey and a lot of them received payoffs from the Kamala campaign to mislead and misinform Black people. So now, even in the face of a loss to Trump and the conservatives, they are still fear mongering, and still trying to maintain a grip on the minds of the black community because they have been put in a place and in a position to where they are de facto leaders. You know what I mean? But their character is of that of a sellout, a traitor, a Benedict Arnold. No one worthy of following because he wants you to love and follow the Democratic Party because they give you nothing. They do nothing for you. They came for the nuclear family. Their policies are directly responsible for the destruction of our communities. You can see, even in their think tanks are designed to create and manufacture ways to destroy us, not to aid and assist us. So, what makes this man and these people on the left so adamant about defending the Dixiecrats, defending their open enemies, and then attacking any black person who comes out against the Democratic Party and dares to be conservative, as if having conservative values and views is wrong? These people have ran a policy and an agenda that is anti-Christ, anti-God, anti-family, anti-patriarchy, and is anti-country. And they advocate for it with a self-righteous indignation that is laughable when you think of what they actually stand for. Well, I'm not going to talk your ear off. I want to get into this clip, and I want you to watch the exchange, and I want you to see how Stephen A. Smith even capitulates to the power or the perceived power of the Democratic Party in the face of their drastic losses. It's almost like black people have Stockholm syndrome when it comes to the Democrats. They believe them to be in power, even though right now they are powerless. They've lost the presidency, the Senate, the House, and the Supreme Court. And they lost the popular vote. They are in direct opposition to the will of the people and the will of God. So what makes these Negroes still scared of them? I don't know. But let's get on to the clip. It's for fair usage under the 1976 Copyright Act for education and commentary, and the First Amendment. I almost said another amendment, the Fifth Amendment, which is the right to remain silent. I don't have to use that one yet. But this is under the 1976 Copyright Act. Let's check it out.
People that are telling the truth about what this is, which we're doing, and there are people that are out there that are trying to spin what the truth is into something that fits a narrative. So yes, I can see how people can mistake an FBI informant for an FBI agent. That's why it's important that we tell people an informant is not an agent. And it's why it's important that people like Stephen Smith not go off on a rant like these are FBI agents.
Now, he's saying that there's a difference between an informant and an FBI agent. But we all know that this is a semantic and this is a word game because an FBI informant reports his information to an FBI agent. So an FBI informant is directly working for an FBI agent. So these semantics don't even make sense unless they think you're totally stupid. Hold on a minute. I want you to hear this again.
When in fact they're informants. Again, almost every probably gang activity you see, drug sales, whatever, have informants, local police, state police, FBI involved somewhere in there. The best thing the Republicans can do now is just like put this FBI thing away into bed. It's a conspiracy theory, completely untrue. And I will say quickly, the FBI and the federal government should have right.
How is it a conspiracy theory if it's been proven that there were at least 26 FBI informants at the place on January 6th? It's been proven that 3 of them helped take the windows out so people could enter the building. So where is the conspiracy theory? See, conspiracy theory is a governmental tool that they use to shut you down and censor information. Because doesn't it logically tell you that if there are 26 FBI informants, that there are agents who they report to? How many agents do they report to? That seems like a whole operation, doesn't it? Let's continue.
Way said, yes, we had 26 informants or whatever. The fact that it's been 3 or 4 years has actually created this theory of conspiracy, but truly, it's not a conspiracy inside.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about Stephen A. Smith, who is getting a whole lot of backlash from the pro-blackity blacks. I mean, the pro-Democrats, right? The pro-Diddy-crats. That's what I'm about to start calling the Democrats. I came up with that name the other day when I did the Diddy video, and I meant to start using that nickname, the Diddy-crats. Right? I meant to start using that a long time ago, but I just forgot. But then I think about it. All the black Democrats, the black liberals, I'm just going to refer to them as Diddy-crats. Okay? This is the Diddy-cratic party, right? The Diddy-cratic party. Anyway, so the Diddy-crats, okay?
He's joking and making light of that. But a lot of their party do have ties to Diddy. I showed you that in other videos. They get nefarious in their interactions and who they are aligned with. Don't get that twisted.
Led by Roland Martin, okay, Roly-Poly-Oly Martin. They're upset with Stephen A. Smith because Stephen A. Smith went off script, right? He went off script, and he basically called out the Democrats for their lies, right? For lying to the American people about everything. They lied about January 6th. They lied about inflation. They lied about the border. They lied about crime. They lied about Joe Biden's mental capabilities. They just lie about everything, okay? And they never stop lying, ever. And Stephen A., being an NPC, he's catching up, right? He's catching up. He's realizing, like, damn, all these lies from the Democrat Party, they kind of make me look bad, right? I look like a fool, okay? So, again, the pro-blacky blacks of the Diddy-cratic Party, they had to come out and crack the whip on Stephen A. because that's what they do every single time. One of the blacks get out of line, right? The Diddy-crats come through, they crack the whip on them, right? Say, get back in line, right? Or else you're MAGA.
Yeah, have you? Now, I mentioned that before. Every time a black person criticizes or critiques the Democratic Party and their policies, they send some Negro to attack you in behalf of them. No matter how right you are, they want to say you're wrong. Did you see how many people on the left attacked you for saying Kamala Harris was not a black person, that she was Indian and Hindu? And Candace Owens showed her family tree, and people traced her heritage, and they still attacked you. It's almost like they're brainwashed, or somebody has some type of spell over them, that the moment they hear the truth, they come out against it.
Okay, so that's essentially what Roland Martin and his sidekicks did on his show. So Stephen A., what were Democrats lying about? What were they lying about?
Everything.
All of a sudden, MAGA's like, oh, no. This is all the FBI. No! They were informants. Tell us what's going on. This is stupid. And I tried not to go here. I tried, and I'm sorry. Damn it, weed.
This is a pitiful Negro. This is like, if you looked in the dictionary and it said traitor, treasonous, or bootleg, it should have his picture. Look how animated he is and how angry he is at Stephen A. Smith for having an opinion that contradicts his master. And he keeps trying to play the same word game. They were informants. Who do informants work for? If they are FBI informants, that means they work for FBI agents. That means the FBI is running some type of operation if they have 26 informants. at the location. When have you ever known for 26 FBI informants to be at one location and it not be a operation? Let's stop playing. 26.
Call somebody. Check the damn facts. And so I'm sick of people. And yes, Stephen A., they using your clip. But Stephen A., you wrong. You are 100% wrong in your analysis. And I don't want to have to make this video, but you're wrong. Everything that you said in your video.
Of course, he didn't want to have to make this video. His handlers sent him out. It is true to form that whenever a black person thinks outside the box, they send in their attack dogs, their gatekeepers. This is what they created through the boule, through their fraternities, through their Q dogs, through their elitism. These are the tools of a white aristocracy. This is their handlers. These are the people who think that they have been designated to speak for us and to control us while we suffer, and they get the crumbs off the Democratic table. These people are traitors. Listen to them.
Was wrong.
Stephen A. Smith is dangerous. And the fact of the matter is,
Now
as
he's
I've often
dangerous.
said about him, I don't have a problem with somebody jumping into different genres, but you need to apply the same journalistic principles that you use in sports, Stephen A. Smith, to the politics. And you're not doing that in any way, shape, or form. You're serving as a puppet for these guys. It makes me question who you really voted for. And just like with the lady, Miss Lee, the Asian American woman.
Now look at this clown. He said it makes him question who he voted for. Like if Stephen A. Smith doesn't have a right to vote for who he wants to vote for. What makes them even think that they can tell you who to vote for? Who empowered these sellouts? He said it makes you question who he voted for. These race baiters and race hustlers are terrible.
It seems like people are doing their best to curry favor. This with Trump and his ilk. This is factually inaccurate, and it's disgraceful that Stephen A. Smith continues to jump into politics when he does not know what he's talking about. And the fact that he would put insurrection with air quotes shows everything that it says about where he really sees things. And people need to really start calling him out like you did tonight when he's doing this type of nonsense. And I can't wait for the clip to share it. Stephen A. Smith, if you're going to jump into this fray, either know what you're talking about or just come out and say you're 100% MAGA so everybody can be clear about it. Because you can't keep trying to straddle the fence and think anybody on this side of the world, meaning this side of the truth, is going to respect you.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Apparently Stephen A. Smith is dangerous for having opinions that the leftists don't like, right? Every single time. I just love the words these people use to describe people that disagree with them. Stephen A. is dangerous. Dangerous. Because he has an opinion that these people disagree with. Fascinating stuff. So anyways, this is Stephen A. Smith's response, and I'm just hoping he doesn't apologize, right? Because usually these disputes end up with Stephen A. Smith groveling, right? Bending the knee. We'll see what happens this time.
But let me go a step further. I'm a registered independent. There's people on Roland Martin Unfiltered. By the way, watch that. The brother's brilliant. I got love for him. Got over 1.5 million subscribers. Ain't trying to dissuade anybody from watching my man Roland Martin. Because I watch him.
And that's the problem, Stephen A. That's why you're still misinformed. Okay? Because you're watching too much Roland Martin. You need to be watching some black conservative perspective. That's what you should be watching. Okay? Like some others, right? A lot of people watching me, they don't say it, but they do. Everybody watches me. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I know. Right? I know.
What I'm saying is these people that were behind the scenes before they came on as your panelists, I recall one person saying, I either need to know what the hell I'm talking about or admit that I'm 100% MAGA. I got news for you. I'm neither. I don't completely know all the intricate details, nor am I MAGA. I'm a registered independent who voted for Kamala Harris. Oh, by the way, they tried to sit up there and say, I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I'm sorry, I thought y'all were about facts. I did vote for her.
Ain't that weak? I thought the vote was sacred, that you didn't have to tell nobody who you voted for. He's groveling. He has to come out and admit that. To me, that only makes you look even more silly because Kamala Harris is in the wind with $1,400,000,000 in the wind.
And that's the problem, Stephen A. That's why you don't get no respect. Even if you come out here and you vote for Kamala Harris, right? Even if you say, hey, I voted for Kamala Harris, these people are still going to be upset with you if you criticize the Democratic Party, right? If you deliver fair criticisms of Democrats, these people still are going to be upset because it's not just enough to vote for Kamala. You have to agree with them 100%, okay? Or else you get some lashes. Okay, that's what happens.
I have my issues. I have my reservations. But I was unapologetic about who I was voting for, and I was very transparent about it. Where's your facts? So you get to engage in innuendo, express frustration, but I can't? Why not? Every time we turn around, all I was trying to say is that something repeatedly comes up that gives the right fodder to say, see, look what they did. When President Joe Biden decided to pardon his son Hunter, I got no problems with that.
This tells you why you should never trust these Negroes. He had no problem with Joe Biden pardoning his son Hunter when Joe Biden created a 94 crime bill that pardoned hundreds and thousands of black men and black women and Latinos and poor people for the exact same crime that Hunter Biden did. Think about that. He created a bill and gave them the maximum penalty, enhanced the sentence for those type of drugs and crimes in the 94 crime bill, called people super predators. And he pardoned his son for doing the exact same thing, and you have no problem with it? When his people still in prison to this day based on laws from the 94 crime bill? This is why you can't trust these people.
But I did have a problem with them lying about it for months, saying, we're about the rule of law. We're about the rule of law. We're about the rule of law. He said he's not going to pardon Hunter. They're about the rule of law, the rule of law, the rule of law. And then all of a sudden he pardons him and you hear crickets. So here come the right again. See, they're lying. I've often joked about people like Sean Hannity and other conservatives that I know that if you are a Republican and you shot somebody in broad daylight on Fifth Avenue in New York City, the first words that would come out of their mouth is, the Democrats did it first. Because their real salty position is not about acting like they're holier than thou. It's about the Democrats always acting like they're on a higher moral ground and they're above board when one nugget of evidence after another always comes forth showing us they're not. That is frustrating for somebody who doesn't know all the facts and intricate details and studies this night and day like Roland Martin.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating for an NPC because if you're not an NPC, you should have known a long time ago that Democrats were hypocrites. Okay, we all knew a long time. We knew years ago, right? We knew years ago. All this stuff that Stephen A. is discovering now, we knew this for years. These people never believed in democracy. Look at 2016, 2020. These people don't believe in free and fair elections? No. They never did. They contest every election they lose, right? These people love domestic violence. Look at BLM, Antifa, Roe v. Wade, the pro-Palestine riots. These people hate the judicial system. They want to go out of their way to undermine it. That's why they're always talking about stacking the courts. They hate free speech. They love authoritarianism. People who've actually been paying attention, not watching Roland Martin, right, have already known these things. It's because you spend too much time watching these left-wing propagandas. This is why you're so confused, Stephen A. It's a screenshot. His face. Sometimes I feel bad for Stephen A. I really do. He getting it from both sides, right? He getting it from both sides.
Everybody's industry or chosen profession isn't following what's happening on Capitol Hill and everything associated with it. People working 9 to 5s, taking care of families, getting stuck in traffic for 2 hours a day, preoccupied with an abundance of other things, relying on others to give them information, but also frustrated that everybody's got to spin. That's all I was saying. I didn't take a definitive position against anybody into perpetuity. I'm simply making the point.
He is explaining to Roland Martin like Roland Martin is his daddy. I'm talking about high-pitched, shrill voice Roland Martin, Democratic shield and puppet. He is explaining to him like that is his daddy.
That it gets frustrating to see little nuggets of intel always leaking out, usually after the fact, incriminating one side or the other all the damn time. And Roland Martin will come up with his facts, and he'll spew them out for the world to know.
You mean propaganda? Come on, Steve. Now you're giving the guy too much credit. He just trashed you in front of his audience, brother. And then you out here trying to give deference to a guy who's not a journalist. He ain't a journalist. Okay? This man's a propagandist, and you out here trying to pretend as if this guy is somebody that deserves to be respected in the game. And it's like, no. This man won't even refer to President Trump as president. So why should he be referred to as a journalist? Why are you bending the knee to this guy? Why are you groveling? Right? That's what I don't understand right now. What's wrong with you, buddy? Grow some cojones.
That doesn't erase the perception. And Roland Martin, you know this better than me, bruh.
Bruh?
Perceptions provoke people's attitude while they walk to the polls, even more so than the facts. It's not that the facts don't matter, but that they always seem so debatable. Ultimately, it comes back to how you feel. Am I clear enough, B? Am I convoluted now, fellas, ladies? I'm a frustrated voter. I watched the Democrats get their ass kicked. I watched them in the aftermath of the election literally say, well, Trump really didn't win the popular.
This guy is apologizing and explaining like Roland Martin is his daddy. This is crazy for having a view. Just talking about leaving the Democratic plantation get you in trouble. Wow.
Vote. I mean, he didn't get 50% of the vote. Who cares?
Cope.
He won a popular vote. He won the electoral college vote. He won all the swing states. He increased in practically every demographic. And you got people coming on the airwaves. Well, it really wasn't a referendum against the Democratic Party because, you know what? He didn't get 50% of the vote. He didn't get 50% of the popular vote. Really? They got the White House, the House, and the Senate. ESPN bets. I was speaking macro. I was just saying, hey, yet another thing that they can point to stake some claim to how they've been victimized by the hands of the left. Are they probably lying? Some of them, yeah, sure. But what are the Democrats doing? The Democrats, they're for the working class, they're for the working class, they're for the working class. Well, the working class doesn't feel that way. Then after the election, we're hearing some Democrats go out there and they're talking about how too many people in the party are about catering to the elite. Well, that's what they were accusing the Republicans of doing. You see how confusing it gets? Not for you, Roland. You might know.
He know that the Democrat Party is the party of the elite. He know that. He just pretends as if they're the party for the working class. But he's on the payroll, right? We know that because Kamala Harris paid him off. Which, if Stephen A. again, if he had some huevos, he would call out Roland Martin for being a so-called journalist, but yet taking payment from Kamala Harris before an interview, a softball interview with that. If Stephen A. had cojones, he would hit Roland Martin where it hurts, but he ain't got it. He ain't got it in him. He ain't got it in him. Stephen A., you sounding soft right now. Right? You sounding soft. I don't like this, Stephen A.
Sounding soft is an understatement. These is the black men they have on the left. Roland Martin, Stephen A. Smith, Ricky Smiley, Van Jones always crying. It's crazy.
What about your 1.5 million subscribers? They know. What about your boys? They know. What about people that walk through the streets throughout America because you roaming around all over the damn place? They know. If they know so much, Roland, why were you determined for Trump's lies not to be heard? If they know so much, Roland, because they listen to you, why were you so fixated on standing right there in the audience? And whenever Trump spoke, you came on this show and you said you were going to stand up and scream lies. If they know, because they listening to you and other folks who think like you and know what you know, then you wouldn't have to worry about doing that because they would have consumed your message and they would know he's lying, wouldn't they? You know better. And you know that most people are frustrated citizens who vote, who are mindful of the times that we're living in, and want finite, definitive evidence about which side is right and which side is wrong with no convolution in the equation. And when reports like the DOJ comes out talking about the FBI on January 6th and parsing words like they weren't intentionally inaccurate. Well, why the hell add the word intentionally? You were inaccurate or you were inaccurate? Where the hell intentional comes from? That's a perception. That's an opinion. That's not a fact. That's a report that said they weren't intentionally inaccurate. How can you prove somebody wasn't intentionally inaccurate?
Stephen A., it's called propaganda, brother. It's called propaganda. It's so funny to watch these people wake up. It's so funny to watch them realize this is the face. This is the face of somebody that realizes that he's being played. Okay, you see his face. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. This is the funniest thing. Every time, guys, the MP, they always realize, oh, wait, this is propaganda.
I'm going to end on that note because clearly you see Stephen A. Smith felt the urge that he had to apologize for even just criticizing the Democratic Party. With their history, they have emboldened and empowered the boule and the bourgeoisie and their Shills and the apostate preachers and fake prophets in the black community to shame black people for having a mind of their own. Well, this is Friday. That's all I got for you this morning. We're going to have a lot of content over the weekend, I'm sure. It's Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. Support to nonprofit Detroit's Black Thought and Ash Collective. The Cash App is in the channel description. Salute to our patrons as usual. Keep your head on the swivel. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.